I am Shannon, and I'm from Rogers, Minnesota. Well, we always had a big garden, and most years our carrots were huge. They were like, I don't know, this long, like this big around.
How did you even defeat the
I don't know, just spread them out, like as they start growing, pull out so that they're spread out, and then they are able to grow that big. As they grow next to each other, they get flat sides on next to each other.
What kind of food did you guys make this year?
We just pretty much ate them and maybe cut them in slices and boiled them or like steamed them. They were really sweet carrots. They had a lot of flavor, not like water. They didn't just taste like water.
Lori from White Bear Lake, Minnesota.
All right, and do you have a food memory in mind that you'd like to talk about?
You know, I love food. I love cooking with food. I love especially growing food and canning it. My favorite thing recently is picking 93 pounds of strawberries and canning them. And then shortly after that, went over to my brother-in-law's house, and he picked like 97 pounds of strawberries, and we canned all over again. So made jelly. So to me, there's nothing better than I make homemade bread and put jelly on it, homemade jelly, and that's it.
That sounds
My name is Gwen. I'm from Westbrook, Minnesota.
all right. And do you have a favorite food?
I do. It's sweet corn
Sweet corn. And why sweet corn?
because my husband grows it and gives it all away. He doesn't charge for it. And we have sent some to Colorado this year, some to Minneapolis. It was distributed among people who could not afford to buy it at the store. At a church, it was given a half a dozen ears to different families that came. We've given many, many hundreds of ears away to people in our area for freezing. Sweet corn just happens to be one of my favorites this time of the year. Otherwise, we're vegetable eaters. We love asparagus, homegrown tomatoes, anything from the garden that's enriching, nourishing, and just good to eat.
I'm Stephanie Finn. I'm from Maple Plain, Minnesota. Growing up, both my mom and my grandma had large gardens, and every August, my grandma, we would harvest all of her sweet corn, and it'd be an all-day family activity. Freezing sweet corn, and we'd enjoy it all year long. So.
I'm Janet. I live on a horse farm in Woodbury, Minnesota, and the most fond food memory is that we actually have both wild asparagus, wild black raspberries on our place. So each spring I find the wild asparagus, and if I time it right, I get to go pick that and harvest that and enjoy it. And the wild raspberries, that's a July memory. We just have breakfast every day in the wild berry patch.
Say, Julie, what do you think about when we get together and start cooking and gardening?
Well, that time we walked out in the field and there was a stream, and you showed me the watercress. We picked watercress and then went back to your place and picked the pears off the tree and made the pear watercress salad.
Yes, toasting walnuts and using a small amount of balsamic vinegar. Oh, Dijon mustard, it was out of this world. What other vegetables do you like?
I just look forward to my heirloom tomatoes every year. Just can't wait till they get ripe and make those BLTs.
The BLTs.
Big old slice
With
of homemade
fresh basil.
homegrown tomato.
And basil. I hope you all garden.
It's a lot of fun. Enjoy it while it lasts.
I'm Laura, and I'm from Brooklyn Park.
And then you have a food memory?
I have a fun memory. My daughter and I have started planting a garden on the south side of our house. We live in the North Metro, and we have really enjoyed, we have herbs in our garden and tomatoes and peppers, and now we're just starting to reap the benefits of that garden. So it's our second year. Yep, so we try new things each year, and it's really fun for us. It's a fun thing for us to share as mother and daughter, and also just growing, locally and supporting that whole effort. I think it's a lot healthier way to do things, and a great way to just have great memories together too.
My name's Kathy, and I am from St. Paul, Minnesota. And I have one food memory to share. I come from a very large family, and my grandma had 9 kids and lived in Plum City, Wisconsin with a big farm. And I remember as a child going to visit and she would take me out in the garden, which was just huge when I was a little girl. And she would have this big apron, and she would put all the vegetables just in the apron, you know, and she'd bring them back, and it was just really fun. And then she had an apple orchard, so we'd go down in the fall and we could pick apples. And so now, I mean, I have a love of cooking just because of all the fun things that she would do. She was great at baking bread and, you know, just all the homemade meals she would make. So I'm a very good cook now because of this. So anyway, that's my memory.
Thank you.
I'm Cindy, originally from California, but we live in Minneapolis, and we are gardeners. And as I think about farming, which we can't do on a large scale in our little plot of the city of Minneapolis, we can do it in small scale. And backyard is suitable, but I really am motivated to inspire others to consider using the front yard as garden space. It doesn't have to be lawn. It can be huge beds of spinach. It could be giant sunflower seeds converted into cardinal food. Just there's so much more opportunity to think out of the box. Who knows what's going to happen in the future with the trucking industry? That's how we're supplied with all our food, and if, you know, Rainbow Foods runs out, it wouldn't be long before we have to start thinking about where are we going to get our food. So that's been on my mind.